This is the Final Whistle podcast from the Wrexham AFC media team. So the Final Whistle podcast, I'm Mark Griffiths from Wrexham AFC, and extra pressure on me today because, as those of you watching the video version might have just seen, Phil Buxton just turned up behind the press box, so I better not say anything that upsets him too much. Not that I can imagine that I would do, because this was a very impressive performance by Wrexham, and a controlled performance as well. Altrincham came into the game in very similar form to how Halifax came into the game on Tuesday, and the game early on started with that sort of pattern. Altrincham put good pressure on Wrexham, good pressure on the ball, and at first we had a little bit of difficulty working our way out of our half, but unlike Tuesday, we dealt with that. We defended comfortably and we worked the ball out, and once we started to get in around the back of them, we started causing serious problems. There were a lot of quality performances by Wrexham, and we in the end finished it off just after the half-hour mark with 2 goals in 2 minutes, one for Mullen, one for Palmer, which really felt like they decided the game to a great extent. We then allowed maybe Altrincham a little bit too much opportunity to keep the ball in the first 20 minutes of the second half, although to be fair, we looked very in control. Altrincham weren't creating chances. Howard did have to make 3 saves in the end, but 2 of them were saves which he had to make after it was 4-0, and the first one was at the end of the first half, a really good save low to his left. Mullen gave Wrexham the lead with a fabulous overhead kick. Palmer looked to have been fouled in the penalty area. The ref didn't give it. Ford with a delightful cross, and Mullen with an overhead kick, a brilliant goal. Even by Mullen standards, it was a corker. And 2 minutes later, Palmer made it 2. Again, a nice move, and Palmer slotting the ball home first time in the bottom right corner from the edge of the area after Mullen had fed him with the pass. Second half, like I said, Altrincham took control of the ball but didn't take control of the game, weren't creating chances, but Wrexham did step it up a little bit. In fact, O'Connor came on as a sub, and it seemed to almost revolve around him. Straight away he came on, throw in from Tozer, met by him, blocked under the bar, and Wrexham soon afterwards got another goal, a lovely move ending with McFadden released into the box, squaring it for Palmer, who controlled the ball, span, and put a lovely finish into the bottom right corner. Lovely quality in these goals, and yet maybe the fourth was the best, because it was a glorious move. Luke Young was the thread that ran through it all, with a series of lovely give and goes to pop the ball off and get it back, and then ultimately fed the ball into James Jones, who'd also been part of the move, who drove in, rounded the fence, and from 15 yards out finished brilliantly. First time, bottom left corner, a fine strike, and Wrexham had a 4-0 win, and then conserved energy again. It was a smashing performance by Wrexham. Did we pick a man of the match in the commentary? No, we didn't. Well, I mean, Ollie Palmer scored 2 goals and did ever so well, but there'd be a lot of contenders. Maybe I'll leave that in, and I'll reveal it tomorrow when I do the full Final Whistle podcast. So please remember, this of course is the On the Final Whistle report. You'll then get later on today, the highlights will come out at 11:45. Neil Williams's Equivan Terfynol will be coming out as well, our Welsh language match report. We also will have Wrexham Anorak with the stats coming out, and then tomorrow the more detailed Final Whistle podcast, the oldest podcast about football in the world, and that will be coming out tomorrow. And then we'll go again. Remember, Triple A will be coming out too, and that's always a treat. And then we'll go again on Tuesday against Maidenhead United. Please remember to subscribe, like, and do whatever. But with a final score of Wrexham 4, Altrincham 0, I'm Mark Griffiths from Wrexham AFC. I'm being photobombed. This is the Final Whistle podcast from the Wrexham AFC media team.